I think we're now live. It says so.
Really?
Yeah.
Play the intro.
I think that's what we should do.
Or don't play the intro.
Boom!
Except it's not that. There you go. There you go.
Look at that! Oh, transition.
That's fun
And then
stuff.
transitioned out. Boom!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. My name's Emery Wolf. Joining me is
Nick Lamb.
And this is Just Two Camera Guys, our first little jump into a live video. So hopefully this is live right now, and then
should we check
later. I don't know how to check.
I don't know how to check either.
I'm like touring. I'm logged in, but I'm not like seeing it. It's weird. I don't know.
I think it is live. There it says it. Just Two Camera Guys live.
Say live now too.
If I click on it, oh, now I just messed it up because I'm getting feedback and stuff, but it's there. This is great.
Live.
Okay.
Live at the Gardens.
I'm gonna shut that down so then now we miss all the comments.
Yeah.
From zero.
Nick, it's been a busy month. We haven't been out. This is actually our first episode since the New Year's. We have another episode coming out that's ready that I also say that in, so just disregard that.
Okay, it sounds good.
Anyways,
your video about how to set up for a live stream, lighting and camera and audio?
Absolutely. That's pro star here. In this day and age, this is how it's done. You use your iMac and just roll.
Sounds good.
So yeah, coming back from the holidays, Nick, what have you been up to? Why have you been so busy? And why?
Oh my. It's great actually. So I was working on like corporate awards show. So it's kind of fun. So building all of the like people get nominated for awards, and so I build like the nominees into a video, the winner, make a little video for the winner or slideshow depending on how the awards rank and stuff.
Were you running stuff live?
Yeah, so it was at TCU in Saskatoon, and it was really cool. They got a great crew there where it's like they had a really good lighting guy, had a bunch of moving lights, and then they have like a literal stage director who kind of helps oversee the whole show, sound guy, and then like the crew, like the internal crew that works for the company that I was setting it up with. And then me. Yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
Nice. So my next question for you then, I was going to ask you something else, but what I'm kind of curious then is like you were doing some live switching and stuff as well, right?
Well, so basically, if you think of it more of, so there's a video content and then an MC on the stage. So we were basically playing off of each other. So like we would play a piece of content and then somebody else would be like, and the winner is... So boom. And then we'd have canned stuff of like the nominees for this category are this, and then you'd explain the category, and then somebody live would be like, and the winner is, and then you'd switch to the next slide kind of along with them.
Like you would a live event.
Yeah. But there was no cameras to cut to. Just
but I mean, you're still
screen content and then in live.
Like for an example, Nick Lamb's on this side of the screen or this side, whichever. I can't figure out. I'm on this side. Yeah, we haven't seen a single cut.
Boom.
There we go. That's a little bit better. Moving ahead, Nick.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been busy too. Someone was supposed to edit.
Oh yeah,
of Just Two Camera Guys, so that got given to someone else. Not going to name names.
That could have been anybody, really.
It really could have been anybody, right? There's a lot of guys to pick from.
A lot of.
Then we shot a couple episodes, edited a couple episodes. I've gone out and done a photo trip, and we also.
Did you document it video-wise or just photos?
Just photos. It's too difficult for me. Like I don't have the time or patience. What I do is long enough already. Cranking out the tripod, setting every leg out, and doing everything. It just takes time. And then the other thing too, the Regina Pats had a game where TSN came out. And
So, how was you working on the crew? How'd that go on TSN crew?
It was good. I watched the video after. We were clearly like a B crew. Like we weren't as good as
Oh,
like
don't say that.
juniors are going or whatever. But I mean, other than that, it was fine. I think myself and everybody else actually did a pretty decent job. So I mean, happy with that. Yeah, talking
Yeah.
to a few of the guys. I made one sort of like bad mistake that like was kind of not my mistake, but nah, whatever. It's over. It's done with.
Oh, that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, with Bedard here, it would be nice if they come back some more and I can do more of those games because
Get some more gigs with them.
it's a much nicer paycheck. Emery's Mud money went way up this year.
Did it? Oh, good.
This month, I should say. Yeah, the next thing, Nick, that we kind of need to unravel, we teased the idea of a meetup, and it was going to be January 15th, and then we never did it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to point fingers again, but it
was that me again?
Someone else. But yeah, are we going to do the meetup finally, do you think?
I think we should start that. Yeah. Especially now restrictions seem to be getting lifted. It seems like a really good time. Just start it up and go for it.
We're already halfway through February, so I'm guessing it's not going to happen until March or something, just by the time we pull our act together. But if people stay aware of that, we'll post something, we'll plan something, we'll do something.
You know what? I was thinking the first one be kind of like bring your own gear kind of event. Although they were just asking everything to get stolen. But bring a camera body and a lens or something like that.
Bring your
kind of your go-to setup.
Your one shelf of shame item you want to display.
Or your shelf of shame item. That might be funny. You're just trying to sell your stuff.
Actually, speaking of selling stuff, Nick, I want to jump into another topic here. What has come out is the Canon R5C, which I think is the perfect camera for you. It allows you to still work within the Canon cinema system, even though I think you should be working off a phone.
Yeah.
And there's enough other things that you could pack into it that would still give you your microphone and all this other stuff. Is it perfect? No, but it would be half the weight.
I like the microphone up. So the 5, what is it? The R5C, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So they basically took the R5, they added a fan. But although I heard, is it the R5 did have some overheating problems, didn't it? But it's R3 that fixed the overheating problem.
That's one of my pet peeves, Nick. Overheating, I think all of that stuff's just like a joke. People act like Sony don't overheat, and they do. Just as bad. I've used them. They do it. But for some reason, we only complain about Canon. So to me, it wasn't a thing. And again, too, like if you're shooting 4K for an hour or something, should a little box overheat? Yeah, it should. It's a lot going through it. Like,
put a little fan on his, and that fan makes it so his never overheats. Yeah. Just like one of those little tiny USB kind of fans, doesn't really make any noise, and that solved his overheating problem.
Yeah, or like, I think too, you're missing out on the big aspect. I could even care less about the fan. What I think is big about that camera is having that switch and going straight into cinema video mode, as opposed to like a mocked up camera mode.
Well, my camera right now, when I turn it on, it goes into cinema camera mode.
Well, if you have that switch over when you turn yours on, the R5C, it would do the same thing.
Yeah. I guess the only downside is mine doesn't have a stills mode. So it's the same kind of camera, but without the stills mode.
I don't think the stills mode's a game changer for you.
So there's a lot of pluses, like the image quality, the 8K RAW. I do like the stills idea, because then I can get rid of my 1DC. I can go down to one body, because I don't need two bodies anymore. I don't shoot two body stuff. I just do a second take from a different angle if I want it. And the nice thing about that is it's smaller, lighter. Like, there's a lot of pluses. The negatives, though, no built-in NDs.
Yeah, but I mean, you could, if you still, like, for an example, you have your EF lenses, you could slap on your EF adapter with the ND in it and roll it, or like, why not just a front ND?
Yeah.
You already have those. You're trying to get rid of those too.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to sell them. There goes $100.
Well, maybe they're worth keeping.
Actually, there's probably a market for them now.
Yeah, I feel like for all of its problems, there's actually solutions, right? You talked about the Tascam thing for audio. I found these little ceremonic things that I was trying to tell you to buy that would like plug into your phone straight directly. I think one of those are pretty good, or like everybody's using the Rode Goes right now as well, which would probably be enough for you guys.
Yeah. Although when I do more corporate style shoot, I do like having my boom mic because it just sounds better than the lab mics.
That's fair. But don't you have a recorder?
You get spoiled though. Once you record to the camera, you don't want to mess around with that stuff anymore. So I would want to get that adapter.
So true. That's great. That's good stuff. It's 100%. I hate the idea of like trying to sync sound. It's terrible.
Yeah. That's why I want to start doing these lives, because we just have to do it once.
Yeah, and then, I don't have to spend 4 hours after cutting the thing.
Yeah. And you really, like, for the first live, I have to admit, you really stepped up your game. You got the good microphone out, good camera out,
pulling
the
out
lighting.
the school of Nick Lamb.
What did I call it? I literally did call it the 39 subscriber special.
Yeah. Another thing, Nick, I want to touch on here is, it's an off comment. I haven't actually talked to you about this, but you sent me a text. We were going back and forth with like ideas for the show or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you said like it's not getting your emails anymore.
Yeah, because you blocked me. You sent a text saying we really are turning into a podcast. What do you mean by that? Oh, nice. I think that nice
See, now this is where, if I had it set up, so basically what I was saying there was
I'm thinking about it. We're turning into more of a podcast. What does that
mean? I think how I would like to evolve the show is to kind of go a little bit more from, we're talking just camera stuff, to opening up our interview options to other people, and tie it back into camera somehow. But I don't think we need to focus 100% on camera stuff. But that being said, I would also like to have some specific bits that are a lot more camera heavy.
Yeah.
Like the PSA idea where we watch the top, watch the top 3 or top 5 ranking. Like we basically take the top 10 ranking when you type in Canon R5C reviews, and you take 5 and I take 5, and then we discuss it for 10 minutes. Like very hyper focused camera stuff.
Like 5 minutes tops, Nick. You discuss it for 10.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I agree. Like, and we are kind of like straying that. So like the next episode that's going to come out, we're interviewing Kenton de Jong, who's a travel blogger essentially, right? But the whole camera process is part of that. And you know, the first, honestly, like 25 minutes of the interview is more about the blogging thing, what he's actually doing, and all this stuff. And then the last like 10 minutes is actually camera stuff, like what's he actually using. One thing actually caught me off guard with what he was using, which I didn't surprise, but it shouldn't surprise me. He was using a nifty 50 for everything, and I'm just like, that's cool. Yeah, I'm like, that's not wide enough in my mind, but you know what? I'm a princess. He knows what he's doing.
Interesting. Yeah. So he's vlogging on a 50.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of what it sounded like, which is pretty crazy, right? Like, because most guys are probably using like a 16 or something.
And it's a nifty 50? So like no autofocus? or does it have autofocus?
I assume it's the one with autofocus, that little plastic black thing.
Yeah.
It's a cheap lens, right? But I mean, it's not like he's getting paid a whole pile to do his blog. He's basically doing that out of his own pocket. So, you know, you got to make cuts where you can. Jumping on again here, Nick. So another thing that I want to address with you.
Yeah.
And this is really your world of stuff. Short videos.
Yeah.
I was watching some stuff and it made me kind of think about like, where are we going to be in 10 years? Are short videos going to exist anymore?
I'm so proud of myself for putting
that up. It's nice. It's slick, eh? So, and basically like the example I kind of seen, and I believe this came from Mark Mason. He sends out like this weekly email thing, and he was talking about institutions and trust. But he also made, I think it's from this one, where he made a comment about how like Twitter basically destroyed blogs. So we've already established, like with Kenton, he's still doing the blog. He's having some success with it. There's a bunch of other people in Saskatchewan having success with it. But does this long form sort of video thing we're doing now, does this eventually go with the times?
Not at all. I don't see how it could. Like, it's because it's going to go in waves. It always does. So it'll go in a cycle, and then suddenly, do you remember? So it was short. Rick, do you remember when videos were? This was like 5 or 10 years ago when people were saying you can't get a video, like you have to keep it short. It has to be short, and people were wanting their videos kind of like it is now, 30 seconds or under. And then all of a sudden, YouTube kind of realized, wait a second, if we can keep somebody there for 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes at a time, why not? We can put advertising in and kind of make more money off of advertising that way. And then it switched to longer forms. And now, like, it's going back to short forms, but it'll go back to long. It always does.
I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like before short was popular because that was like a tech restriction. You know, uploading gigabytes worth of video wasn't something that they had. You know, you didn't have these massive warehouses of servers from Amazon or Google. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you too. I don't think the long form ever disappears. The one thing I was watching too was sort of talking about how like the long form is where the money's going to be.
That makes sense.
Point in case, like with Leroy and Leroy on your 15-second videos, how much money do you make? And then where have you made your money?
Well, really it's through advertising is how we make money.
Yeah, but you did like those 3-minute long tourism videos, right?
Well, so if you're talking strictly on the platforms, our YouTube revenue is so low that it doesn't really even pay for the gas to get out to places. So it's something like, it's better than nothing, but we would, in a month, we would make more money off of our book than we do from YouTube. We'd make more money by selling a shirt than on YouTube. Like right now, YouTube, the actual money from the platforms it's just not even, doesn't factor into the equation.
Yeah. The one other wrench I would throw into this, I seen another list this week. I was trying to Google it here to see if I could share it, but I don't know where it is. But I think there's even like a Wikipedia thing that is the list of Google products that they have gotten rid of. And there's like 100 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there is a lot. You know what? Let's see if I can actually share my screen on this thing. No, I got to do some stuff. Anyways, there's a lot. Like the Wikipedia list is super long if you look at it.
Here, I wonder if I can give you.
I'll just send you a chat. You can link it and see.
Okay.
Anyways, it's super long. And does there come a time where like YouTube's just not generating enough and Google actually discontinues it?
So where does it say the discontinued ones?
I sent in the chat, I sent you a link.
Oh, okay, there we go.
But like, do you want me to go through it? Like there's Google, the old Google search engine, Google Alerts. Oh wait, no, these aren't discontinued ones. These are lists of actual Google products. Ignore me. Anyways, there's literally like 100 products that they have discontinued throughout the years. And like I said, the question still stands. Do they eventually discontinue YouTube? Because maybe short videos take over and there's just not enough viewership in the long form anymore.
Well, like theoretic, that's a very theoretical. It depends on how long you're going for. Like, yes, they might discontinue YouTube just before the oceans evaporate and we're all headed to Mars. Like, that's a theoretical possibility, but I don't see it happening because right now. So, are you on TikTok at all?
No.
Okay. I'll try to paint the picture. Right now, YouTube, you'll kind of go on it. Typically me anyway, I'll go on it to learn something like, how do I do this? How do I do that? How does Premiere do this? And then there's some vloggers and stuff that I'll watch for entertainment. Is that similar to your experience?
Is this on TikTok or on YouTube?
On YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
On TikTok, on my feed, a lot of it is learning stuff that I didn't know that I wanted to learn. So it's a lot of like, hey, when you're framing a house, you put this little plate on it behind your pipe. So when you're screwing through your drywall, if you won't screw into a pipe or something like that, like weird stuff like that.
Yeah. So like,
but I'm not searching for it. It just shows up. Like it just gives you what it wants to. The wording that they use is TikTok gives you what you want to see, but you don't know. And like YouTube, you search like what you're wanting to do. But TikTok, it's stuff that you wanted to see, but you never even knew it, kind of thing.
One thing before I ask you another question, I sent you another list. There's literally 100 things that they have stopped. Things like Picnic, Cloud Connect, Google Listen, Google Refine, Google Postini. Have you heard of any of these things? Needlebase, Meebo, Google, like this. It's just tons of them, right?
But so video, unless something better than video, like I don't know. So there's actually I met a guy in Saskatoon that was doing the voiceover for the show. He's on Metaverse. Have you ever been on Metaverse at all? I haven't. But this guy's a DJ and he goes on Metaverse and DJs in clubs that are virtual. Like, so he'll get invited to DJ in different clubs and he shows up with I've never seen it or been a part of it. I'm just trying to go by what he was explaining to me. So maybe if that took over, yeah, I don't know. But so like maybe if something like that took over, yeah, there's a virtual world down the road that I can't picture in my mind yet. But I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think there would be an uproar if like they got rid of YouTube because there's so much history there. Like when you think of like all of our written history for the last X amount of thousands of years in human history versus what's actually on YouTube, I bet YouTube contains more.
Oh, that's actually a really, really interesting discussion there. If
like it's almost like I'm not too sure what you call that, but it's like a social matter essentially. Like people should be concerned about that because of that reason, right? And at some point in time, if Google decides to do it, like we need the means to say like, no, you can't. This is our history.
Yeah, or a chance to save it all.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on the Wayback Machine?
What?
It's like just Google Wayback Machine. It'll take you to, so remember eBay in like 1996?
Oh, and it's all the websites, right?
And it takes you back to the websites, how they looked 10, 20 years ago. It's fascinating.
I have seen that. Nick, talking about this YouTube thing and shorts and all that, I think that sort of blends into another question, which is going to seem arbitrary, but I think it's very similar. And that question is simply, is just two camera guys evil?
Is just two camera guys evil? Like, are you talking about the name? Is that your question there?
No, this is like a worldly thing. Like when you, again, like looking at, like basically we are controlled by YouTube. Like we have to basically comply to their rules. We have to comply to all their stuff. And when you don't, you wind up having issues like Joe Rogan with Spotify. Spotify is also something we do and use. Anchor FM is how we send out the podcast.
Yeah.
Anchor is a Spotify product. It goes out to Spotify and a bunch of other ones. It all gets done for us for free, which is pretty fantastic in my mind. But does that inherently make us evil because we're working for the man?
Oh, okay, so you're using a very generic evil term.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying, are we selling out? Is that kind of the question?
No, like are we evil because we're still on Spotify even after all this?
Oh, because we're still on Spotify.
And when does it happen to YouTube? And when are we evil for being on YouTube?
Well, so I don't know. Like, there's some other parts to everything that I'm unaware of, but I thought that Neil Young used that as a opportunity to announce his Amazon release. Did he not? I thought it was like a way of making a big deal that he was going to be. I thought it was just a marketing ploy, but maybe I'm naive to the actual social. I just thought it was, but I don't know.
You know, I think like yes and no. I think Neil Young does believe in what he was saying and wanted to do that. And yes, I think it was probably a marketing ploy and he probably profited from it. Does that make Neil Young evil?
But I don't know. Like, so.
But Joe Rogan's gone through a lot with this, Nick, right? Like they took off like 70 of his Spotify stuff already, 70 different episodes. And, you know, he's apologized to people. He sounds pretty sincere in my mind.
He does. I saw his apology. Like he sounds, I don't know. He sounds so likable in his apologies. He really does. But I don't know. Like, this is kind of the problem with me, is that it kind of like this will annoy you. This answer will annoy you. It annoys half the people that I talk to on a regular basis. But if Neil Young was actually felt like he needed to do that, I respect him for doing that, for like following what they believe they should follow. But I don't know. I just feel like I can kind of see both sides of it and understand both the responses to a certain degree. And I'm not upset with any of them for doing it. Like, I don't know. That probably makes me bad. Yeah, maybe that does make us evil. I don't know.
And that's like part of the moral problem. And like, I don't think it makes either one of them bad. I think there is an understanding and forgiveness problem in this world. And that's like one of the things, like we are coming out of a pandemic and I've never seen people been bigger assholes to each other. Like it's mind boggling. It's like, you guys, we should be like celebrating this, not trying to create weird lists on Twitter and all these column. You didn't wear a mask. You wore a mask. Like it's ridiculous. Like, why are we mad?
Yeah. I don't know why we're so mad. I'm not sure. It's hard to but well, this is the hardest part, is when you say that and it's like, I don't know why everybody's so mad. But then from being honest, and I look at my own life, I'm probably more guilty than the next person. Like, for example, this is a couple weeks ago. I was at Walmart and the person was like, "Hey, you can't take that basket outside." And Like I responded like a jerk to them, right? It's like, what do you mean I can't take the basket outside? It's like, no, the basket has to stay inside. And like, so then I put it in a cart, and they're like, no, you can't take the cart with the basket. And I'm like, okay, so I took the basket out of the cart. But it's like, yeah, like I don't know, maybe we're just all on edge right now. I'm not sure.
And honestly, Nick, I think you're right. Like we all do that stuff. When we were texting back and forth, you sent me this one quote that I absolutely love for it, and I think it is really what we need to start doing as a society instead of pointing the finger at everybody saying, you, Nick, you're bad, you're evil, you're terrible because you're on YouTube and you're on Spotify and you told that guy at Walmart, like, you're a horrible person. But instead, it's like you can take your time to look at yourself and become a better person. And I should be worried about my time to look at myself and become a better person. But that's not how we're dealing with things.
Yeah. No, I think that's the hardest perspective to take, though, because it was really hard for me to even say that here of going, man, like I did not make that person's day better, but I could have said, oh, no worries, man, how are things going while I'm unpacking my grocery? Like, like, oh man, like, like I could have made a conversation with them and actually improved their day.
Yeah. And like going back to the question, does that make you inherently evil? Is Joe Rogan evil? And is Spotify evil for supporting him? At the end of the day, like, I just feel like the answer is no. People have some questions they have to ask themselves. And like, you don't have to listen to Joe Rogan. You really don't have to believe what he says either. Like you get that option in a free country or a free society. But that's not the way we are treating it. Whoopi Goldberg got in some trouble as well for saying some stuff she maybe shouldn't have. But like, again, she apologized. Like, should we be canceling her? Like, why? Like, if we end up canceling everybody who's ever done some wrong, we will run out of things to cancel because everybody will be canceled. And if that doesn't happen over the long run, Nick, the whole idea of cancel culture is hypocritical. Because everybody's done some bad.
So actually, I did see a headline of the Whoopi Goldberg thing, but I didn't follow it up. But so she did apologize. I don't even know what she did, but I always thought, I don't know, maybe that's just how I was raised. But it's like, if you actually mean your apology and you can change and move forward and improve, I just thought that was the point. But maybe not.
I'm going to agree with you. I think your line, look at yourself and become a better person, is what Rogan and Whoopi are doing right now. And that's what we need. And we also need we need an openness about having conversations like we're having, except conversations that are way more difficult to have. And we're just not doing that because we're pointing the finger, telling them who's to blame, and everybody's wrong and everybody's evil. And I don't think that's a society I really want to be a part of,
Yeah, it's true. Oh, hey, we had our first comment. It was spam. That's sweet. Yeah.
Should we put it up?
I don't know what it.
Show our
first. It's gonna say something
fantastic.
Bad.
Well, it says VUM today. I don't know. Put it up. It's not going to do anything bad.
All right, it's on.
Thank you, Morozova. It's a great name. I wish I could pronounce it better.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nick, I've got two more things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
One of which we kind of talked about the PSAs before. You sent me a bunch of videos to watch. And this
I did not answer your question. The previous one.
I don't have an answer.
I don't know what the answer is.
Look at yourself and be better.
Yeah.
Going back to the PSAs, you sent me these videos to watch, and I've been complaining to you about this for a while, and I want to jump into it a little bit more. So you sent me a video by Gerald Undone, a popular YouTuber.
I like Gerald Undone.
He's honestly, his video was fine. It was not my favorite out of the bunch, but either way, what peeved me was that I had to watch 2 commercials before it even started. And then I think there was like 2 or 3 within it because of the time lengths. I'm just like, why are we putting up with this as consumers? Like that's such hogwash. This is going back to like whether YouTube's evil or not, right? Like, and I feel YouTube isn't inherently evil, but when we're using it to make money like that, you get people doing these things. Like this is how Gerald Undone gets paid. I understand that. But at the same time, as a consumer, I just like, I don't want to watch another one of his videos if I'm going to go through that again.
Well, here's the thing. And now Gerald Undone's so detailed that I don't think this happened to him, because he's so detailed that I don't think this is happening. But for example, when you monetize a video on YouTube, you click monetize, right? And guess what's auto checked? Everything. Pre, post, during, whatever. And so if your video's over, I can't remember. I think it's over 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever the number is. If it's over a certain amount of time, you can do a mid-roll.
Yeah.
So then you click mid-roll. Yeah, I'll do a mid-roll. So I did a mid-roll for one of our videos. Not the Just You Camera Guys one. We can't monetize. But I clicked the mid-roll. Yeah, we'll do that. Make some money off of that. And hit save. And then I just watched it back like you did. And it played so many mid-roll videos. I was like, what is going on? There's an advertisement every 3 minutes. So you have to go in and you can actually say, all right, we want an ad at the 5-minute mark. And that's it. And so that's what I did. I went in and I was like, okay, we'll do an ad right after this bit that we just did. And then it'll play the rest of the video. Yeah. So Gerald Undone, there's a chance he might have just clicked play mid-roll video and not realize that he's got that many ads in it. That is possible.
Do you remember when YouTube had 0 ads?
No.
Man, it was beautiful. That was the peak of YouTube. I would like to get back to there.
It's kind of like TikTok. So on TikTok, you can scroll right past the sponsored thing. Like boom, like second, not even. Okay. But that's why their retention's so high.
Yeah. The other one that we get a lot subjected to with these camera shows, and I'm going to pick on someone in specific. You can tell me who you think it is. But
I know who it is because I had one of his videos in the list that I sent out.
You had one and I had one. We're going to talk about today's sponsored StreamYard, who we're using for free, and they are a fantastic group of people. Later on, we'll have a little more talk about our other video sponsor, but before that, you should maybe pick up FroPack 3.
Yeah.
And then he'll spend 20 minutes like editing a photo and like, oh, let's see how Skittles looks on that. Oh, that's fantastic. You know, that's in FroPack 3. You can pick that up. Like, just like, God, enough. I'm sick of it. You know?
I know.
Way too much ads.
His is excessive. His is so excessive. Yeah.
Yeah. Does there come a time, like we talked about shorts maybe ruining YouTube? You think there's a time where ads ruin YouTube?
Well, that's super interesting.
I feel like we're already there, but I'm wondering
what happened.
Like, people just stop using it because there's so many ads.
But you know what we'll do, and I can't believe this hasn't been done yet, Emery. PVR for YouTube, where you can skip ahead. You click the video you want to watch, it records it.
That's what YouTube is.
No, but you can actually skip it. So it's the software that it watches it would have to watch the whole video, but it records it.
Well, YouTube does that skip ad thing, right?
You have to wait the 5 seconds. We don't have time for that.
Yeah, I just want to.
So this is a thing where you just click through the day before. You'd have to do some pre-planning of going. The software would be like, all right, I'm going to watch this video, this video, this video, this video, and this video.
Yeah.
And then the software will record all of those videos, and then you go back to it. It's just like a little app or whatever on the side of your browser. You click it, and then as soon as the ad comes up, it can auto detect the cut and it'll just skip past it.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you do that on YouTube's network? You know,
Well, somebody will figure it out.
well, YouTube will have to figure it out, and I'm not sure they want to do that.
Well, no, but somebody could. So this is how you could do it. So the software would just go in and it would just screen record all your stuff with the audio. This could be done. You could just, you'd have to leave your computer on while you're sleeping or whatever, and it would do it. Or you just say the videos you want to watch. This would be illegal, but it would do it off site. They'd already have it recorded and they'd just send it to you. This is like PVR, because PVR did that for TV where you could just skip ahead of the commercials.
Yeah. The other thing with that too, though, is like, so take for an example us who were working on YouTube. Would it be nice for us to get some ad revenue from them? Probably. It'd be nice to be paid, but will we ever get there? I don't know. And what we're advocating for right now is not for us to get paid.
It's so tricky though, because when you look at it as a consumer, you're like, yeah, that'd be great. But when you look at it as a creator, that sucks.
YouTube too, in my mind, is basically slave labor. I'm going to use this as an example, but so our work YouTube has enough followers or whatever. We can't actually monetize it, but we have enough videos, have enough things that, do you know what comes up when I hit play on our videos?
What's that?
Advertisements. Do you know who gets paid for them? Not us.
So do you guys have enough subscribers?
I don't think we have enough to get paid, and that's why we don't. But why are they playing videos? Why are they playing ads on our videos? Like that's like the definition of slave labor, not paying.
No, it's not. Oh no, now you're canceled because you're compared. This is what happens. Somebody. Oh my goodness.
Why aren't they paying us?
I believe I'm part of this conversation.
Why aren't they paying the company,
right? So to play devil's advocate, I guarantee you agreed to that when you signed up for YouTube in your terms of condition.
I probably had no choice.
Exactly.
So is YouTube?
Well, you do have a choice. You could have put them on Vimeo, or
I'm sure,
or
same thing.
What's another site? There's probably one out there somewhere. I don't know what it is.
The point is YouTube's making money off of our backs, and we're not making anything off of that. We complain about kids making shoes for Nike, and that's a problem. How is this not a problem?
Well, because we're not kids and we're not making shoes.
And we're not making money.
But we're not kids. We're not making shoes.
So our choice is just not to do it then.
Yeah.
That doesn't really seem like much of a choice.
There's a way to get there, though. So the Peter McKinnon had an argument for it, where he'd basically said before he got to 1,000 subscribers, he was just learning how to do it. And then once he hit 1,000, he kind of figured it out already.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Nick, we're just trying to figure this out before we hit our 40th subscriber.
The 39 subscriber special.
Yeah, we're sitting at 39. We've just been waiting on that one. We're looking for another number 40. Nick, you wanted to do something special. I didn't really understand your text. It sounded like you wanted to go sleep in a tent for some reason.
Oh. Yeah, well, so there was that famous, well, I shouldn't say famous, you hadn't heard about it, but it was a pretty viral video at the time where that kid did his 70th subscriber special overnight campout. But now, do you see his numbers? He's at like 500,000 subscribers. The kid's crushing it.
And he's probably getting paid now.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you want to do then to celebrate our 40th?
Maybe we do the meetup. Let's do that.
Oh boy, I feel like we might have to do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
What I'm scared about is like literally tomorrow someone could subscribe, then we're too late.
Well, we'd plan it. So we'd start planning once the subscriber hits.
Do we work up to maybe the 53rd subscriber then?
The 53rd subscribers? Well, yeah, I say we plan the meetup, and if we can revolve it around whatever the number's at the time.
Cool. Nick, I think that's everything for today. We can basically end this thing. It's a good time too.
Okay, hold on though. Once it's over, I got a little something special here. So let's.
You got a little something. You always have a little something special. What's your tidbit of information to leave?
Oh no! Well, I was gonna just play the thing, but should we do? Do you have time? Do you want to do a shelf of shame, or are we?
Oh man, I didn't even think of that.
I just got to look at my shelf, and it kind of tells me what's on the shelf.
We should have done a shelf of shame, and I never even thought about it. Do you have anything?
You know what's really my shelf of shame now? Actually, I'm gonna get it because it's actually almost embarrassing. It's getting to that point.
All right. This is just quality entertainment here when you're kicking your computer around, leaving me on my own to just discuss nothing.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm gonna put a pitch in for FroPack 3.
Yeah. This is actually quickly becoming my shelf of shame.
Just because you don't use it?
Yeah.
It's a 1DC, right?
It's a 1DC. Let's see. Well, it won't focus while my head's in the way. Yeah. It's kind of becoming my shelf of shame.
Yeah, I was kind of talking about you getting rid of your cameras before, but I never ever said it. But Matt Howard will buy them.
He'd buy this piece of junk?
Well, no, I think he'd be more interested in your C200 when you bought an R.
Well, yeah, that's because that thing's not a piece of junk.
Well,
he's got the C100 now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not even in the same league, though, the C100 and the C200.
Yeah. Nick, I got like nothing around me that would be my shelf of shame. I only have like shelf of pride.
Shelf of pride.
Yeah. You know what? It's shameful, but I like these little boxes.
And, the little Apple box?
Yeah. Inside of it's where I keep all my Sharpies.
Oh, nice.
And I've always kept these Apple boxes. So this is from like 2004 when they sent you out programs in this giant box. This was either Final Cut Pro or Logic.
Yeah. And then now you're writing Apple letters saying that your computer doesn't come with a CD-ROM to load all your software.
Yeah, it's garbage. All right.
Okay, so here's the deal for next time. You get your camera and mic going, and then we go to YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. In my defense, it took you like 8 videos before you got your camera and mic going.
Yeah. But how's that a defense? You've had yours going for like 20 some videos already.
And if people watched our NFT episode with Paul, you didn't even have your mic going then.
Oh, it's so bad. Nobody told me. After the video was done, you're like, hey, your audio sounds bad.
Yeah, I kind of figured it sounded shabby, but I just like, whatever. We're in the show. We got to roll. Yeah. Nick, let's sign off. What is your wonderful, glorious ending piece of advice to?
Okay. Well, I do have one good piece of advice for camera people, and I know this goes without saying, but double check your batteries every time. Always charge your batteries. Oh, so just hit remove. Hold on. This is so
you
bad.
Want to remove us and end the stream.
I want to do this. So bad. Have a good night.
Yeah, everybody.